Hi, it's Jan Beta, and this is something new for this channel. It is an Amstrad CPC 464 that was donated ages ago actually by Anthony, who donated a lot of stuff to this channel, and yeah, thank you very much, sir. This is going to be my restoration project for today, and maybe a bit of a repair project, but yeah, let's see where this is going. It's just have this, looks pretty dirty, but otherwise pretty intact. One of the keys from the cassette thingo is a bit bent, I believe, but otherwise it looks in okay condition, apart from it being dirty, and some of the keys are pretty stuck, but I guess that's just filth from the ages. So as I said, this is new to this channel and it's also completely new to me. I have seen one in person, although it was the Schneider variety, which is the German distributor of these, and they had like a different color scheme. They were more, had light beige keys for the function keys, and I think the other keys were about the same. This is dirty. There's a lot of dirt on the ports here and stuff, but yeah, just going to open this up. Shouldn't be too bad. And have a look. There usually should be another screw in here, but there isn't, so this should open up now. There's no screw in there. Oh, there's screws on the sides. Haha. Okay. There we go. Now it should open up. Yeah, and it does. There's one connector here for tape and one for the keyboard. Yeah, okay, just lifts off. It's just a bit bent. Wow, this is heavy because it has the tape recorder there. So here's what's in here, and they surely knew how to use as little parts as possible. Wow, this is amazing. Here's the RAM ICs, I believe. Yeah, TMS 4164s. 4164 RAM. There's our Z80A processor. This is the sound chip. And I'm not sure what these are. This is probably the ROM, because it says Amstrad. Some logic, 74 logic chips, not too many. And even there's a very small count of resistors even. And this supposedly, yeah, this is like the ULA chip, the all-in-one thing that they spun, that says Amstrad as well, and has this innovative heatsink on it. That supposedly, I guess it works. Okay. So there's absolutely not much to it, and I just want to take this out of the case to be able to give the case a really good cleaning and to work on the board. There's two little electrolytic capacitors on here that I want to replace right away, I guess, because it's not much effort. Okay, let's remove the board. And a genuine 80s fluff ball. Yummy! But it's literally just dust. I don't think there's anything very gross on here. So I think this just goes straight into the bathroom and gets some water, gets a good shower and some soapy water. And the board is so light compared to the stuff I usually work on, like the C64 board. This is a very thin, or not even thin, it's just light. There's very little copper on here. it's amazingly cheaply made. It's a double-sided board. Yeah, there's no real ground plane or anything. There's no power regulation on here. It just goes straight in here. I believe this just takes 5 volts. Yeah. Let me clean this board up really nicely. I'm going to clean the parts with an eraser, which usually works pretty well. Wow, this is dirty. And they are not gold. The contacts are not gold plated like on the Commodore machines. Okay, as for power. This just uses a regular barrel plug, 2.1mm barrel plug, which is the standard size for everything, or nearly everything, I believe. Same size that goes with the Mega Drive, the Super Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, the Commodore 16, everything else. This takes 5 volts, and I believe it's center positive. Other than the other things I just mentioned, which are, I believe, all center negative. So that means the center pin on this one should be our positive rail, and the outer part should be the negative. This is our ground. So I connected this to a center positive 5 volt power supply I had lying around, and let's see. Okay, the power LED came on, and I hear a faint humming from the speaker that's built in. That's probably because the power supply isn't very good. Yeah, but this seems to be promising. Let me hook up a display to it. And for that purpose I cheated and bought a SCART cable from Visalia, which has been around since forever, since the 80s, I believe. German seller of computer parts. So let's hook this up. Okay, let's see if it works. I guess I switch to the input. Fingers crossed. Yep. It does, and the picture quality is pretty darn good, actually. Nice. Winner. So we have to clean it up. Basically. No repair to be seen at this point. In order to be able to clean the top part of the case, we are going to have to remove the tape drive, data corder, and the keyboard. I guess we just unscrew it. There's a ground plug here for the keyboard. Let's see if I can level that out. Yes, I can. And that's why this is so heavy. This is actually a metal bracket the keyboard sits in. Okay. Oh, there's another ground connection there. Okay, so here's the ground connection, here's another ground connection on this thingo. That's just a for stability of the cable. That's not a ground connection in the common sense. Okay, there goes the keyboard. And the LED is connected to the tape. Wow, and this is dusty. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, and the tape unit had some things done to it. This has been cut to be able to replace the belt, which is still pretty loose. But it's okay. Yeah. power LED. Should just come off with these clips here. Or is it glued in place? No, it's already off. Okay. Nice little PCB with one resistor and the power LED. kind of neatly made. So I think I have to remove the screws around the perimeter here, and then I can probably lift this off, hopefully, without damaging it too much. Even though it's a pretty crusty one, it still is a computer, mind you. So this has to go. That has to go. Here that has to go, I believe. And is there another one? Okay, there is another one. These are the red screws. Interesting that they colored them. So okay, this now should come out. Yay! The switch and the volume potentiometer also have red screws on them, so we're going to remove those as well. And there's a little speaker that slides out. Okay. Yay, there we go. So now this can go into the bathroom and get a nice scrubbing. Okay, let's try to get these keycaps off. I first want to take a picture so I know which key goes where. Okay, let's go. Yeah, okay, this goes surprisingly easy, and these are, I think there are different types of keyboards. Some have another mechanism. This is like a standard mechanism, which is a good thing, I guess. Okay, let's remove all the keycaps. And bathe them in some soapy water. So one casualty, but this might just have been broken before, I don't know. Maybe it's just brittle plastic. I think I can just glue this back on, this little piece. It's the caps lock of all things. And you can see that these are faded a bit. Green ones are not so bad, but this is the original color. This is what it looks like. A lot of it is dirt, I would guess, but it also faded out. The blue is particularly prone to fading out, as I've seen in other pictures. Let's see how these turn out after I soak them. This needs another round of dust removal, I would guess. And I'm using my trusty Sillet Bang for, it says multi-fat or multi-grease solvent, and it's for mopping floors. I'm using warm water. This stuff works well on most plastics I've thrown it at. Should work well in this case. Just going to let these soak for a while and use the same stuff on the case. So while the case parts and the keys soak a bit, let me just clean this up with some IPA and some window cleaner. make quite the difference here. Although most of this, the dirt on here, I believe, isn't dirt, but it's rust and corrosion. So I'm probably going to use a toothbrush here. Yeah, this works better. Some alcohol for disinfection to counter the alien bacteria that's on here. Yeah, but most of it is corrosion, really. So, and I think I don't want to pop this off, although, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to do so. Let's see. It's probably easy to break these tabs off here. Oh, we have to get this cable tie here. Yeah, there we go. Hey! Okay, there's rubber domes on this, interesting. Okay, we should carefully clean this with some soapy water, I think. But I was so careful. There's a lot of dust on here. But yeah, that's probably the best idea. And this just needs another good wipe down. So the silicon parts I'm just going to clean with some water and be very careful not to damage these contacts that are on the back side of them. And this gets a really light wipe with IPA too, because there are the contacts responsible for the key presses. Yeah, but these look pretty clean, so this should work no problem, I guess. Yeah. Going to put a bit of contact cleaner on there too, because this stuff prevents it from corroding, and it's generally good stuff. And it worked well on keyboards before for me. It kind of has an oily quality to it, so it protects the contacts. And this is non-corrosive, so it should work pretty well. So a tiny bit of these carbon contacts always comes off if you rub them, so don't go too hard on them. You can see that by the black. That's not only dirt, that's just parts of the contacts. Be very careful. Okay, so why this stuff soaks, let me just take care of the PCB real quick. I want to clean this thoroughly with some isopropyl alcohol, and I want to replace the two electrolytic capacitors, just for good measure, I guess, because they are old. This is 1983 copyright, so this machine, I don't know from when, but might be from 1983. And I want to replace the thermal paste here with some new stuff as well. By the way, I know that Neil of the Retro Man Cave did a restoration of one of these just recently, and I deliberately didn't watch it because I knew I was about to do this and I didn't want to spoil any of this for me, and maybe give you an interesting video and not just do the same stuff that Neil already did. This seems pretty reasonable because it triples, or at least triples, the surface area of the chip. Doesn't have any fins or anything. But I think there's not much room in the case. Okay, let me clean this board up with some isopropanol and my ESD safe brush. Wow, look at that soup. This was really crusty. Okay, leaving this to dry, letting the case soak for a bit, and then I'll be right back. So apparently this rewind key is broken. It should be attached to this rod here, which they all circle on. So if you depress them, they stay in place, but are just basically moving the mechanics that are hidden behind there. The plastic parts are broken off, so I'm just going to try and use a little cable tie to tie this into position. Might work. These are all one piece, unfortunately, so I can't really do much about it. Okay, so this actually worked first try. I love cable ties. You gotta love cable ties. So here's what I did. Just tied a cable tie around the stem. And it works beautifully. And it can't go anywhere, really. I could use, if I can fit it, another cable tie in the other direction, so that it makes a little X there, basically. Let's try that. Okay, this should go here. Yay! Just cut the excess. And this should be fixed. At least, the button behaves as it should. Nice. The spring is protruding a bit. I think I'm just going to cut it because it has been reattached there. Just going to cut the excess stuff here, so it's not getting in the way of the belt. That should work nicely, I guess. So just bring this up a bit. Wow, this whole thing is crusty, down to the power switch. And of course the volume knob. And actually one of the cables came loose here, so we have to solder a bit. That's no big deal. Just cleaning the whole mess here, tiny little bit. There's a lot of dust in there. Okay, let's go and replace the capacitors. So that was refreshingly easy recapping. And while I'm here, I'm just going to reflow some of the common problem things here, like the power jack and yeah, all the connectors basically are pretty. If you have issues, these solder joints break easily. And also you might have noticed that I took off the ULA chip altogether. That is because it had this metal bracket below, and that was that had thermal paste on it too. So I'm just going to fit a thin layer of thermal paste back on there and on top, and then reattach the heat sink. So the chip gets cooling from both sides apparently. And this is, of course, this is a bit nasty, but it's gonna be alright. That was way too much already. Yeah, gonna be okay. There we go. While I have the soldering iron out, I'm just going to fix the connections on here. And one of the connections on the little speaker also came loose. Okay, should work. As for the case, you can still see some discoloration, some battle scars here. I am going to use this cockpit car cleaning spray that I actually got for free when I washed my car the other day. But this smells like, yeah, not very retro computery. But maybe it helps. At least it is made for dark plastic. Yeah, okay. Time to let this fully dry, I guess, and see how it turns out. I don't think this stuff changed anything really. So for our broken off part of the key, I'm going for Uhuplast, which is a plastic for model building. Glue, specialized glue, and yeah, I think, but it should work pretty well for this purpose. And apply it. Okay, there we go. Don't even have to fix it because it holds like this, and we should take 5 to 10 minutes to settle. Okay, after a brief shock that I had because this was not turning on again, not displaying any picture, it works, and yeah, it works. It apparently works fine. I had a bent leg on the ULA chip, and that didn't make contact, so it couldn't work properly and it didn't turn on. Have the tape drive working. For some reason play isn't working, so I'm going to have a look at that. But I think I'm quite ready to put it back into the case for now. Okay, so the tape, the mechanical functions all work. It opens, it's a bit stubborn, but it opens. So the reset knob for the tape counter, I think there's a little piece of plastic broken off, so I can't really reattach it, which is a bit of a bummer. Maybe I'll go back in later, but at the moment it's not one of my priorities because the tape isn't working anyway. So yeah, let me reassemble this thing. Oh, and the keys turned out pretty okay. The blue, which are the enter keys, are more or less gray, but it doesn't look that bad. The red and the green are still pretty vibrant. I don't know what to do about the blue ones. So the original blue is of course a lot more blue. Looks like this towel here, but I guess there's worse things that could happen. Maybe we could sand them off slightly to get rid of the greenish thing here, but I'm not going to do that now, I think. Tried with the cockpit spray stuff, didn't help at all. It just stayed the same color, but it smells nice. And the key we repaired, the caps lock key actually. Works just fine. Nice. There we are. Newly refurbished Amstrad CPC 464. Still looks a bit beaten up, but that's just the battle scars these old computers have, I guess. So I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. At least I'm not afraid to touch it anymore because it's so much cleaner. Let's briefly see if it still works. Ta-da! Wow, the keyboard feels weird. The picture quality is really crisp. It seems to be fully working. Even the tape works partially. So it might be that the play only works if I type something. I think I have to type run. Press play, then any key. No. Oh, it works! It works! I have to press play after I... This doesn't turn on until I issue the command. So, nice! What a relief! So it seems to be a fully functional Amstrad CPC 464 that has been at least cleaned, and the restoration process, yeah, it still looks pretty messy, but way better than before. And there I have plans for this, but not for this video. This is already long enough. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it informative and entertaining maybe. There's going to be more CPC stuff, and there's going to be CPC 464 streams sometime soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Jan Beta. See you next time. Bye. And the speaker also works.